Cross fingers and work for the best. Hello. So today I'm going to be working on Mad Moxxi. It's kind of a random side project I've put off for quite some time. I think I put Mad Moxxi aside May of 2016. There's a photo shoot happening in Detroit in October, so the goal is to get her done in these next couple days so that I can start back on Gosetsu. And I don't have to worry about this, but I want to get this done for the Detroit photo shoot, so that's the goal. I already have a bunch of her stuff done, so here is her hat that I made. Everything, all the seams are hidden completely through. You can't see any of the stitch marks. Everything's already painted. It's fully lined. I've got back here over my shoulder her this coat tails. And pinned into place is the collar. It's not stitched in yet, but I do have the back decal and everything, and all the handmade bias tape is sewn on. It must be iron though. There's a bunch of pin marks. That's ugly. So today I have to pin the cuffs in place. But at the same time, my most important thing is I'm going to be creating the yellow bias tape that is going to go around all of the trim. So I'm going to be ironing a lot today. So it's going to be a lot of sewing that happens in this video. The Renaissance Festival went well for those that stopped by and watched the Wasteland headdresses streams. Yep, those went well. Seem to be, I'm just reading the back to see where I want to put it for cotton. But I don't have any water in this stupid thing. Alright, well, I'm gonna get a water bottle quickly. It's significantly warmer under these hot lights than it is in the rest of the house. So I've got my Black & Decker iron, set it to its cotton setting, using the Bad Kitty spray bottle, because I'm going to steam press my bias tape. Adding water slowly to my iron, hoping that I don't overfill it. Oh, just like that, because then it goes all the way over. Oh well, it smells like burning. I use my iron for some pretty random things. What I'm going to do first is I actually have a belt for Mad Moxxi, and I'm just going to take some puffy paint. Just like random, I'm pretty sure this puffy paint is left over from my college sorority days. And I'm taking black puffy paint and I'm going to paint the edge of this belt that I cut. I didn't cut it, I got it from somebody, they cut it. I just don't want to have to buy something new for this. Since this is going to be the belt, I'll weather it. But I want to close off the end nicely, so almost like that leather finishing, I'm just using puffy paint. And to make it nice and even, I'm just going to carefully work this out. Gosh, this iron is heating up fast. I can feel the heat. I'm just trying to cover all that end as evenly as possible. So yeah, just puffy painting away for right now. This will finish the ends without looking horrible, I hope. Wishful thinking. Kind of gooped too much onto it. So I'm just going to take a paintbrush, a random paintbrush. The reason I chose black on this is no significance. I don't have brown puffy paint. Go figure, that wasn't a color used often. So I'm just dabbing it around the ends, making sure that it's evenly touching the leather. Alright, so there, yeah, it's nothing fancy, just closing it off. When it dries, it'll dry its nice puffy painted puffy self, and it'll look like it was supposed to be there all along. Cool. I'm just trying to clean the puffy paint off the paintbrush because I'm lazy and don't want to go to the sink. Sorry, I've got the windows open, so if you hear vehicles passing by, oops. I don't like to iron anything straight to my iron because I use it for so many random things. I'm just going to put the hat up there. So many random things. It's got like gunk on the bottom of it. So what I will do is I'm just going to sandwich it, because again I use my mat here for Warbler, and you can see that it's something I ironed with red last. So I just take some scrap fabric, and what I'm going to do is my iron will melt. Let me turn it down. It will melt the tops. That's the wrong one. It will melt the top of my pin heads. So I'm just going to open up my pin container. I'll lay it out usually diagonal, that way I can get as much done as possible. This might be a very tedious process. Actually, I know it is. I've done bias tape before. But I want it... Oh, come on. There we go. I want it done right the first time around. I don't want to have to go back and fix things. So I don't need a lot of heat to iron down my bias tape to begin with. I'm going to pull out the pins, and because I've gone over it already once, those pin marks are visible. So if I flip it down, I might even just use the spray bottle. It's set in the water gun stage for the cat. This is where I want to really make sure that I've pressed it down in half. I want that crisp, clean line, because this is what's going to be visible on the outside edge of all the trim. If I get the bias tape done perfectly now, it'll lay very cleanly on the garment, and I won't have to worry about it. Won't worry about it. So, laying my scrap pieces down. I don't think I needed to steam it the first time, so I'm just going to give it a light iron. Light passing. I've got so many of these to do. Because again, it's going all the way around. And for the top neckline, I do have like the bubble, almost rippled trim that she has. And I'm going to sandwich that between the bias tape. Yay! So again, just making sure that everything is laying down flat, nice and even press. Oh, I don't know why I pulled that pin out first. So I'm ironing my bias tape. I couldn't find pre-made double folded because I do like my bias tape to be double folded. I like that extra stability. If you're going to go through all that work, you might as well just have it double folded. I couldn't find the exact color I want in the store. So, make your own. So, one's done. Wish there was a way or something that I had to hang them off of. I'll just use this then. There, that works. So there's just a bunch of ironing. If you have questions while I work or just want to chat, so doing a dry press back and forth. It's getting quieter outside now. All the kids are getting ready to go back to school. Some of them have even started already. Haha. Yes, I know this process is very tedious, but it needs to happen. Don't half-ass your frickin' cosplays. I've started putting together a list of the costumes and time spans for next year. I'm getting excited. There are a couple new festivals and fairs that I'm going to be attending in different parts of the state that I've never attended before. So I'm looking forward to it. I can't disclose them yet, but toward the start of the summer next year, I'll give you guys the deal. You'll see me. I'll probably stream those costumes as well. You just won't know what they're for. So again, the reason I use the extra scraps of fabric is to make sure that any residue from doing random things with my, or ironing random things with my iron, don't transfer onto the clean yellow. Taking the same precaution with the bottom. I do want to, while it dries, make sure that it's not like rippled or folded, so I'm trying to pull it out straight on my other side here. Sounds like it rained outside. You didn't see that one coming. Trying to catch a breeze. Trying to see if I can catch a breeze. This iron is kicking out some heat. 3 done. Well, they're not even done because I've still got to do, this is just the single folding. I've still got to fold and pin them and iron them all once more after this. Bend this down, you might be able to see a little bit of what's going on down here. It's faster to use this spray bottle. I used a ruler and a rotary tool to cut this all out beforehand. supposed to make enough bias tape the first going that it would even account for what's needed for the shoes. So here's to making it all at once. This will also be hiding the wire that I will be putting into the tail of Moxxi's coat tails. If it's still too damp from the spray when you move it, wherever it dries, whatever position it is, it will crease that way. So I want to make sure that it lays down flat. I want that nice fold. Yes, they do have sewing machine foots that can do this, or feet that can do this for you. However, we won't be using this bias tape in the cleanest and most normal fashion. So it's best if we press it ourselves, that way with all the funky bends and corners and strange places we're going to be putting this. We don't have to worry if the sewing machine is going to grab it. So yeah, making our own bias tape. So I'm folding the first. I want it to be double folded. So that means it's going to be folded once, and then those inside halves get folded again. We're making the first fold line and ironing it. I've sandwiched it between two scrap pieces of fabric. That way, any of the gunk from the bottom of my iron doesn't transfer over onto my bias tape. And also the random stuff on my ironing mat doesn't transfer on the back side. So pulling pins. To make sure that those pin marks aren't visible, I will iron over top of them once I've pulled the pins out again. You see that it's not it's not straight, it's kind of got a weave or a wave to it. You can just pull it taut while you're ironing it. Try to get as much on there as I can. Ooh, don't touch the iron. That's hot. I keep looking up at my reference image that's on my screen. Just checking out. She does have this everywhere. I have all those buttons cast as well that I've got to paint. I tried spray painting them yellow, and I'm not sure if I was impatient, but it didn't take the first time around, so I'll have to respray paint the base coat of those buttons. I found spray paint that matches this exact yellow. I will be using fabric paint to go into everything to make those cartoon video game old lines. I've got the pieces cut already for the Ruby, her side gun. I think I purchased something newer for this specific reason. Just making sure I'm not warping. My tabletop by doing this, because it is pretty damn hot. I'm gonna have to switch my setup after I get these done. I got one more to iron in half after this, and then I'll go back and iron them in quarters. It's got random, more paint on me by random. I'm just making sure that this is drying well. Yeah, it's doing its thing. Do them all one way and this one upside down. If you want to watch all of the, I believe there's 8 streaming videos from my Wasteland headdress. The ones that are no longer on Twitch can be found on my YouTube channel. another ironing board. Aha. We're gonna switch this setup. One, there's a breeze when you stand up, apparently. Yay! Two, the tabletop was just getting way too warm. So what's going to happen now is I'm going to put a different mat down to iron on. Oop. Yeah. I don't want to warp my countertop, and I didn't think it was going to get that hot. So here is a different type of ironing board. Just making sure the little rubber feet are on. And what I do with this is I just take a clamp and clamp down one of its feet so that it doesn't go anywhere on me. With that being said, it looks like I need to move this a little closer. Because it's lifted off of the table, I won't have to worry about... I don't even know what this is made of. It's not plastic. I'll fold this stuff in. That gives me more room for the molten hot iron to sit. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to sit down for a minute. And all of these I'm going to have to fold in half on both sides and pin again. So what I mean by that is we're making double folded bias tape. So I'm going to open this back up. I folded it in half and ironed it. Now I'm going to take and pin all these edges in again, almost like origami. So this then makes a crazy, but yes, double folded bias tape. So I'm making sure that my pins are sticking perpendicular to my actual tape. That way when I go to iron over them, I'm not going to iron the pin heads. So if I iron the pin heads, I'm going to melt them to my fabric. And no one wants that. But I've got to be careful because some of the stuff is still damp, and the more I lean or put my hand on it, I'm going to keep creasing it. Even though Mad Moxxi is a relatively simple cosplay, I want it to be as clean as it possibly can be. Which is a strange expression for a Borderlands cosplay. Oh. Wow. Just stuck that one in me, and this one stuck me in the elbow. I'm making sure that when I go along, they are, oh no, I bumped my belt, because I have marks now on my arm that weren't there before. I knew I shouldn't have painted while I was working with fabric. In case I have to do a hidden stitch, I want these to be the exact same height, width, thickness, whatever term you want to call it. Again, if I take my time and do it now, when it comes to applying these to the actual coat, it'll be easy peasy lemon squeezy. So again, I'm just folding them in toward that center, folding it back over. I'm sure there's I know that there are feet that will do this for you with your sewing machine, but I want it perfect. Ugh. I don't want the chance of something not getting fed right the first time around. I want that clean, crisp, ironed finish. I know this is definitely the boring part of Mad Moxxi. No boobs involved in this part. So again, just making double folded bias tape for Mad Moxxi's trim. So, one down, so it starts folded in half, ends by me throwing pins all over the place. That table is still hot below me. So it ends up being roughly 1/4 of an inch, I think. No, maybe 1/2 inch. Who the hell knows? I'm not a human ruler. So again, I'm opening it up and folding my edges in toward that center seam. Pinning them in place, that way I can iron them later. Yay! Once this part is done, I will begin pinning things in place. I'm going to end up stitching the wire, zigzag stitching that wire into the tail, and then coating that wire with this to hide it. Should be fun. With the hat, I stitched in 16 gauge wire as well, that way it would hold its shape. I made that hat just like I did the top hat for that fairy costume 2 years ago, was it? I think it was 2 years ago. Time flies. I guess I'm gonna turn off the iron right now. I keep hearing it keeping itself warm, and I'll be pinning for a little bit. done. Probably shouldn't have it in just a while. Okay, so there's 8 more, so there are 10 total. Wow. So I guess what's more boring than priming props and headdresses and horns? Folding your own bias tape. But don't think about it and just keep going. Maybe it won't take as long. Psych. local neighborhood train tracks. In case nobody heard him passing. Honk the horn a little bit more, train. I still have to buy another wig. The first wig I purchased from Mad Moxxi, I ended up using and cutting up for Kiki. Oops. Okay, so we are halfway there before we start ironing again. Whew. Right. Sorry, I'm just silently folding and thinking. Stabbing my finger with these pens every once in a while. Oh, just a random, interesting safety pin in with all the other straight pins. Two more, so close. Brain fart. Going the other way. hidden away. As of right now, it looks like there won't be a stream on Thursday of this week. If I do have one, it'll probably be later on in the day, around 5. I am pleased to say I have an interview Thursday afternoon, after morning. I mean, it is after morning, but Thursday afternoon. My fingers are crossed. Oops. Alright, so all the bias tapes now been folded and pinned. Time for the last, I plugged it in right, of the ironing for this. This is turning out very well. Can't even tell that it's been cut now. I think I'm going to apply another little layer. I want it to be raised up a little bit. I'm going to try to carefully do this. I guess it's going to be off. Ooh, you don't say, iron. Oh yeah, oh my goodness, that iron makes this room, this area like 5 degrees warmer. I want to make sure that there's no raised areas in the puppy paint because that'll stay like that. Cool, now I won't bump it. So I'm going to do the same exact process as I did before. However, now I have an area that won't heat my table up and possibly warp it. Woohoo! Alright. And for this part, stand up task, now we're standing. I'm not. Might be able to scoop this in a little bit. There we go. Now let's see how this goes. I might end up having to steam it twice. Steam it once with pins and then once without. We'll see if it holds up. Really want to make sure you got a nice iron crease. Yeah, that's nice. Cool. That's my cell phone. R2D2 is letting me know I get a text message. Oh. Type in the password correctly, maybe it'll open. It's probably gonna go off again. Sooner than later. What is that? I'm not sure. I still got the pin lines for some reason. So I might just need more. Ooh, what you don't want to do is just what I just did right there. Ah, phooey. Just getting impatient. hair is all over the place. Woo! This ponytail's doing nothing now. Ugh. Oh, there's a pin in the back. We're gonna put our hair up in a ponytail for right now. Use the literally put a pin in it. Ha 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 ha. Alright. It's a little cooler. Yeah, that works. Yeah, that was a lot of water. I sprayed down on that. getting these wet. Oh well. Taking a little longer to iron it flipped over because again it's 4 layers of fabric, trying to make sure that we keep that nice pressed fold, trying to eradicate all pin marks as we go. I see what happened down here. Okay, just kidding. Now we're halfway done. Six done, 4 more to go. hot. Thought I saw the cat just walking by. Looks like a sticker that got stuck or something. So here they all are. Bring the hat down. So I want to say thank you. I'm going to end the stream here for right now. I've got to run some errands still before they close. So thanks for everybody that stopped by to watch the double-folded bias tape making. Brain fart. Tomorrow we're going to add these to the border of the actual coat and coattails. So yeah, if you want to continue watching and following my work, you can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. You can continue and follow me on here, and we're going to keep streaming the rest of Mad Moxxi. Hopefully next week we get back to Gosetsu. I keep saying that. He is in the works, but these little mini projects keep jumping up. Mad Moxxi is going to be ready in time for October 1st photo shoot with a bunch of photographers and cosplayers in Detroit. They have an event on Facebook. You should check it out if you're in the local area. We will be painting this in the Borderlands theme. It is a very clean right now, and it won't be that way when we're done. It will, but we'll be painted. So again, thank you for everybody that stopped by and hung out or just popped their head in to see what was going on. I know that making your own bias tape is not the most fun and exciting thing. However, it is rewarding when you look at it and you see those nice crisp fold lines, everything's ironed, the colors match. That's the big thing. You want all of your colors to match. So until next time, I will see you then. I'll see you guys tomorrow around 12. Bye.